Former President Donald Trump has been rebuked by a federal judge for wasting his time. But now, on Thursday night, Judge Donald Middlebrooks of Southern District of Florida hit Trump and his lawyers with $938,000 in sanctions for bringing what Middlebrook had called a completely frivolous lawsuit to his court. So now, look, the details of this are absolutely hilarious. You see, Donald Trump decided back in March that he was going to sue Hillary Clinton. What? What? Why? Well, he had alleged that she and her cohorts had, quote, maliciously conspired to weave a false narrative that their Republican opponent, Donald J. Trump, was colluding with a hostile foreign sovereignty. That foreign entity or sovereignty was Russia. Donald Trump sought $72 million in damages. And I just got to say, what a baby.
Beta male.
Sad. Now, look, I say that because Donald Trump has said far worse things about, well, again, Hillary Clinton. He said far worse things about Democrats, terrible things about black people, women, the FBI. I'm no fan of the FBI, right? But still, there's no end to the list of people that Donald Trump has said horrific things about, and of course untrue. Nobody really sued him over that. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. E. Jean Carroll is suing Trump for defamation. I think she's got a pretty darn good case that can go forward. And so, that said, when you're talking about Trump and Clinton, they're both public political figures. Now, if you were suing a public figure, or you are a public figure and you're suing for defamation, you have to prove malice. Now, malice is defined as the speaker either knowing that that statement was false or acting with reckless disregard for the truth. Reckless disregard for the truth can also probably be, put under a picture of Donald Trump. For all the massive amounts of lies that he has told, at this point, I don't know who's lied more. Donald Trump or George Santos? Just saying. Very, very, it's a good question. It's because before George Santos, Donald Trump held the #1 spot. He's got competition. George Santos also might be the first drag queen in Congress, which actually would be the only good thing that he has ever done. There's that story where he was allegedly a Brazilian drag queen going by the name of Katara. Interesting. But anyway, as I said before, when it comes to defamation lawsuits, there's a pretty high bar for that. And that's because of the First Amendment, it's because of free speech. But for Donald Trump, free speech, he doesn't understand what it means. He thinks that, oh no, it's fine for me. It's free speech for me to say anything I want about anyone else. But when somebody says anything about me, especially about any of the scandals or anything that I've possibly done, no, unacceptable. I'm going to sue you. I'm just going to sue you. Baby. Sad. And once again, let me add.
Beta male. Beta.
Anyway, so that said, bottom line is if you make a statement about a matter of public interest, for example, a political scandal, which is in this case, the whole thing about, the election and Russia and things like that, that was a matter of political public interest. It's likely not to be considered defamatory. Now, that's why Middlebrooks had actually tossed this case back in September. However, the new ruling, now, at the time, he also had fined his lawyers about $50,000 in damages In his latest ruling, though, Middlebrooks ordered a new round of sanctions, stating that Donald Trump had no business bringing the suit in the first place. Trump's lead attorney, by the way, in the case was Alina Habba, who was sanctioned jointly with her employer. Here's what Middlebrooks wrote. The case should have never been brought. Its inadequacy as a legal claim was evident from the start. No reasonable lawyer would have filed it. Intended for a political purpose, none of the counts of the amended complaint stated a cognizable legal claim. Now, we're going to get to the best part of this one. But first, a lot of that money is going to go to pay the legal bills of 31 defendants named in the suit. Which, again, makes sense because he not only wasted the court's time, but he wasted their time and money getting him to court for this ridiculous, frivolous lawsuit. Again, we don't know how Donald Trump is incredibly litigious, that he goes and sues people and then, nothing happens of it, or they settle, or whatever. And so he's used to this, basically. He's used to wasting the time of the courts. That said, the best part here is he has to pay $172,000 to Hillary Clinton. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
Now, look, I'm not a Hillary Clinton fan by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. But the fact that Donald Trump tried to sue her, failed, and then has to pay her, that's one of the funniest things I have ever seen. It's awesome. Look, now the statement from the judge, it's even better. In fact, he said, quote, "Here we are confronted with a lawsuit that should have never been filed, which was completely frivolous, both factually and legally, and which was brought in bad faith for an improper purpose." Go on. Mr. Trump is a prolific and sophisticated litigant who is repeatedly using the courts to seek revenge on political adversaries. He is the mastermind of strategic abuse of the judicial process. Now, a lot of that sounds like he is complimenting Donald Trump. Oh, he is a mastermind of strategic abuse. Sophisticated litigant. No, basically it's a fancy way of saying Donald Trump is really good at wasting time. At wasting everyone's time and doing nonsense, ridiculous lawsuits, which end up costing him in the end.